Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Rose, I'll give you a tip. If you take out 2/3 of these chairs, we'd have a full house. This morning, we are celebrating and talking about Christian education, especially for our youth. And it is a very, very important subject in this church. And I've got a few things I'd like to say to you. And first off, I want to begin with telling you that you already know that we are truly blessed to have so many children so eager to learn about Jesus and about God and about First Presbyterian Church. And we are also blessed to have someone like Rose that's here to lead us in the education and care of these precious young ones. Today, this setting provides us with a great opportunity to focus on our First Presbyterian guiding principles once again. And you guys all know these, but it's always good to review, get them in your mind, and share it with others. Our vision here at the church is proclaiming the love of Christ from the heart of Hastings since 1873. And our mission is welcoming all, living the love of God and neighbor, seeking to transform ourselves and our community and our whole world to be more Christ-like through service, worship, prayer, education, and fellowship. Our capital campaign is living a legacy of love. To honor the legacy of the last 150 years, well, 151 now, and to prepare us for the future 150. Our vision and everything we do at First Presbyterian is based on love, the love of Christ and the love of each other. Our mission is giving and loving and living the love of God and transforming ourselves in many forms along the way, including the education and continuing education of all, with special emphasis on the children. Right now, we are in the thick of our 2023 capital campaign. This work is dedicated to the future of First Presbyterian Church, not just the buildings, but the church itself, the people. And the people in mind is the youth of the church. Our children are the future of First Presbyterian and of the Presbyterian faith. Christian education is essential for their success as well as our own. I've just returned from the spring meeting of the Presbyterian Synod of the Lakes and Prairies. This is our synod. This is also the first synod in the United States to become a Matthew 25 synod. And this is based specifically on verses 31 through 46 of Matthew 25 and reads as follows. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep at his right hand and the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you? And the king will answer, truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these, you are members of my family, you did it to me. Then he will say to those at his left hand, you that are accursed, depart from me into the eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you did not welcome me. I was naked, and you did not give me clothing. I was sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they will answer, Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not take care of you? And he will answer them, truly I tell you, just as you did not do it to one of these, to the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. You know, if you think about it, we are a Matthew 25 church, and providing Christian education for the youth is a great way to express it and to fulfill it. Listen close and take note of the scriptures to be read today in the worship here at our church, at First Presbyterian Church. Romans chapter 8, verses 14 through 17. For all who are led by the Spirit of God are children of God. For you did not receive a spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you received a spirit of adoption. When we cry, Abba, Father, it is that very Spirit bearing witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. If we in fact suffer with him, so that we may also be glorified with him. We are all children of God. We all are heirs of God, along with Jesus himself. And we have the opportunity to be glorified with him. But first, we must know, understand, and accept God's works, his word and his grace. Let's work together to help the children to get to this level. Thank you for your time and for your reflection. Thank you, Rose.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Good morning, everybody. I'm just here today to tell you what's going on in the world of Christian ed. And I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot going on. So I'm going to talk quickly and try not to, get to my notes too. I do. I'm going to talk quickly and try to stick to my notes, because if I don't, we're going to be here for a very long time. So, I think all of you know this, but I'm Rose Koepp, and I have a degree in elementary education and K-12 special education, both from Hastings College. But this is my dream job. So when I went to college as a freshman, I said, I'm going to grow up to be a director of Christian ed. And all my friends said, you're weird. And I said, do I know? So this is such a blessing to be able to be here and serve this church in this capacity. And it just makes me so happy to be able to do this here with these kids. So mostly what I have for you is a bunch of pictures for you to look at while I'm talking at you about the different things we have going on. And if you have questions, just stop me and ask. Or if I'm talking too fast, stop me and tell me to slow down. So first of all, I wanted to share our mission with you. So we have, sorry, my brain just started. It's fine. We have our church mission. That's a whole mission. But then I took the pieces of it and said, how are we going to apply this very specifically to our children? And what's our mission going to be for Christian ed? So it says, together as a church community through service, worship, prayer, education, and fellowship, we're teaching our children how to be Christ-like and how to live in the confidence of God's love for them. So our church mission talks about being Christ-like and being being people who live in the confidence of God's love, but we need to teach the kids how to do that first. So everything that we do comes back to our mission here. Okay, I'm gonna start with Sundays. Well, that's not true. I'm gonna start with the school year. Our school year programs are for ages 3 years old. We do ask that kids are potty trained, all the way through 12th grade. And our programs run from September to May. So first things on the docket is Sunday school. We have 6 different classes. There's a pre-K, K group, a 1-2 group, a 3 through 5 group, 6 and 7 group. Confirmation is 8th grade, and that is a Sunday school class, and then 9th through 12th grade. Pre-K through 5 follow the narrative lectionary, and prior to choosing narrative, we run the revised common, and that's what they were following also. So there are curriculums available for our students that follow the same scripture schedule that Greg and Damon are following on Sunday mornings when they're preaching. So whatever the lesson is in church on Sunday, whatever the children's moment is about, whatever that is, the kids are learning the exact same thing in Sunday school. So the hope here is that they're going to be getting the same information more than once, because repetition is how we learn. The curriculum that we use is called Living the Word. I think I said this, but it's new to us this year. It's a relatively new curriculum, so it's still got its little kinks and its bugs, but it has a lot of options for the kids. So like the preschool curriculum has center ideas for the teachers, which is really the best way for preschoolers to be taught. And so that's like something different that our old curriculum didn't offer. And then this curriculum offers material all the way through 12th grade. So our senior high kids, they use it on Wednesdays, but they're using the same curriculum too, and it's just at a different level for them. So all of our children are learning the same thing every single week, which I think is really neat, because then at home, they can be talking about it, mom and dad can be engaged with it. It's just a cool structure for that. We do have, I also wanted to mention that we have 8 volunteers across just 3 classes upstairs, the pre-K through 5th grade. We have 8 volunteers who make that all work and happen every week, and they are amazing. So it's also Teacher Appreciation Week. So if you see them, give them a pat on the back and tell them, thanks for teaching our kids. 6th and 7th grade do an Old Testament and a New Testament walkthrough. So we have a curriculum that we've been using for the last few years that just does like a really deep dive into like what is like the overarching story of the Old Testament. How does that tie into the New Testament? And they spend 1 year studying Old Testament, and then they spend the next year studying the New Testament, and it rotates. So no matter what they're doing 1 year, they'll do the other year. And that is really like a nice way to take everything that they've been learning in Sunday school and then stop and say, okay, I know all these stories, but like, here's how they work together. And so they get to do that. And then the next year go to confirmation. And so then our hope is that the kids come to confirmation with a pretty solid biblical background of like the key stories in the Bible and like the overarching themes in the Bible and a real understanding of God's love for us and God's story. Then 8th grade is confirmation. Have a nice little picture of last year's confirmands for you. During confirmation, the students are working with Damon. They have a confirmation curriculum that they use. I don't know who the publisher is, but it comes from the PCUSA store. So yes, there you go. Fancy big words that Greg just said for you. I teach little ones, you guys. I don't need to know. But they've been using that curriculum for a long time, and we like it, and it does a good job of helping the kids. I think it's called Big Questions. And so that's what it is. It helps them answer big questions. So, they also work with mentors, which today I think we'll probably recognize the mentors. And you guys, I'm telling you what, we have 11 confirmands this year and 11 mentors, and these people also give them a high five when you see them in the hallway. They've got their work cut out for them. And then the last group for Sunday school is 9 through 12. 9 through 12 has been really fluid since I got here. Damon had been teaching 9 through 12 before I started, but when Stephanie stepped down, he took over confirmation, and then 9 through 12 was kind of a void. And so that first year, my husband and I took over and kind of taught it, but then it was like the students were like, oh, what's happening? We're not having Sunday school? Okay, so then no kids were coming. And so we've been working really hard on trying to build up our senior high program and focus in on what is it that they want to learn? What is it that they want to know? We've tried a few different curriculums and we're looking at a new one for next year. Just something, we're looking for something that is gonna be captivating, but also help kids to connect what they're learning in church to their everyday lives. Is we really feel like that's what senior high kids need, and that's what we've heard from some of them too, is that that's what they want to learn. This school year, we've used a lot of parent volunteers. Using parent volunteers is really a magical thing, because when you ask a parent to volunteer, now their two children show up. So we've had a lot more kids showing up this year because we've had parent volunteers and they're on a rotating basis. So that's been kind of fun to have them in there. I have some big goals for next year because we do have 11 confirmands, which means we'll have 11 kids in Sunday school next year, and we anticipate that most of them will keep coming back regularly. Pastor Greg and I have been in communication about doing like a multi-generational Sunday school class. It's very important to me that adults are showing up for these kids and helping them understand that their faith is so important. And we're talking about doing a multi-generational class with the kids and some adults. And yeah, we've got a couple different curriculums that we're looking at, so that'll be an exciting thing for next year. Okay, the next thing on Sunday mornings is acolytes. I got this cute picture of baby acolytes for you. You might know this, like little Meredith Oliver's in the middle. I had to dig down deep to find a picture of some acolytes, so we giggled about this one for a little bit. So acolytes are 3rd through 8th graders. It's on a volunteer basis, so the kids are not told when, but they are asked every week if they want to volunteer. And I have like a sign-up sheet that I send out to parents every semester so they can go in and pick the dates that work best for them. I just have 2 acolytes. At the beginning of the year, we teach the kids about the why of being an acolyte. Like, why do we have acolytes? What is this for? Like, it's not this, oh, you can carry fire around. Like, we want them to actually know what they're doing. And some of the kids really grasp on to like, oh, like I'm bringing the light of Christ into the sanctuary. And some of the kids are just like, fire. But the ones who really get it, they get so proud to do it. So if I don't have anyone signed up on a Wednesday night or on a Sunday morning, I'll go upstairs to the Sunday school rooms and I'll say, okay, 3rd through 5th graders, who wants to volunteer to acolyte today? And there's always that one kid who's just like, oh, me, I want to do it. Friend, do it with me. We'll do it. We're gonna do it, okay? And like, they're just so excited about it. And I think that that's just a really great thing, that they want to be a part of our Sunday, or like our Sunday morning, like traditions and rituals that we do. I think it's great. They want to be a part of that. Okay, next thing, we also offer nursery on Sunday mornings. We have nursery for newborns through 5 years old. Kim Bogan is our paid nursery staff. She doesn't really hang out a lot, just like when we do things as a congregation, but she's a member of the church. She's been a member of the church for a very long time. So if you haven't met Kim, or if you haven't seen Kim, just peek into the nursery and say hi sometime. She's just one of the sweetest ladies I know. So she's in there every single week. And then I've started doing, the last 2 years, I've done a rotating student volunteer list. So we've got this amazing pocket of students in like 6th, 7th, 8th, and 10th grade who all want to be a part of what we're doing. And so they're looking for any opportunity they can find to volunteer and to be a part of what's happening. And so I asked them, do you want to help in nursery? And I got 5 kids who are like, yes, every time. Yes, I want to help in nursery. So we've got a rotating schedule. This is Reagan Welsh with my little one, Elise, and that's Calvin Miller. So she's one of my regulars who's in there. Jenna's son Kate is one of the ones who's in there regularly. So yeah, it's really just a great place to be. And then what happens is the little ones form a relationship with the big ones. So then what we see on Wednesday night is Elise says, well, I want to sit with Reagan at dinner on Wednesday night. Okay, that's what you do, sit with Reagan, like great. And we're really seeing like just this mix of age groups becoming family, which is what I absolutely love to see. Okay, the next one. Wednesdays. So our Wednesday program is called Wednesday Night Live. We meet during the school year, September to May, and it's from 5 to 7:15. It's for all students in pre-K through 12th grade. So, Sunday school, we say like 3-year-old through 12th grade. For Wednesday Night Live, I really tell parents, like, if they're in preschool and they are handling preschool well, then this is gonna be a good environment for them. If they're not in preschool yet, this environment might be way too much for them. Because while there is structure, there's also, as you can see, a lot of chaos. And so like with the littles, we just we wanna look out for them and do what's very best for them. So the breakdown on Wednesday nights is that we have a meal, we have music, we have Bible time, and then we have recreation time. So family meal time. The focus of this meal is just fellowship. So the students go through a line cafeteria style and then they pick a seat wherever they want. We try to have an adult at every single table to help facilitate conversation, to help kids pour water, help them with their napkin. Like I said, we'll get, like if my child who's a 4-year-old wants to sit with a middle schooler, then I'm always asking the middle schoolers, hey, can you step up and kind of be a helper? So if we don't have enough adults one night, I've got my teen volunteers who are always really good about being that adult in the space. We also families are welcome to family meal time. And this year we've had a lot more families showing up. So like moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, whoever comes, and we always have enough food. So we want everyone to come and just have this really loud, vibrant space of families having a meal together. That is just my hope and dream for this. And I think that we are really there. And then at the end of dinner, all the kids are responsible for cleaning up their own space. So, do you have a question?
I just want to chime in too, that, this is prior to my arrival here. The church prioritized this family meal time and put it in the church budget, so we don't charge anyone for family meal time. It is a line item in the budget and it is covered because we don't want there to be a barrier. And even when you have a suggested donation, there can be a barrier there. And so we just decided that this is our priority as a church, and I'm very grateful that the church made that decision even before I got here. And we will continue that as long as we can, because we want to make sure that people feel welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you aren't coming on Wednesday nights and you want to come on Wednesday nights, you should. It's fun. You're gonna hear lots of stories and people talking about some of the weirdest things. So at the end of mealtime, the kids all help clean up. So they'll, like the food station in the window of the kitchen then becomes a cleanup station. And so then the kids get up, they have to take their own plate, they have to take their own napkin, their own glasses, they take them, they clean them up, and then they have to write down their own tables. So it's just kind of teaching them those like rhythms of like keeping your household clean. They can go home and use these skills at home too, which is, I think, as a mom, a very wonderful thing. And then at the end of meals, we always do a prayer of thanksgiving for the meal. So usually Damon leads it, and if you've been there, you know Damon likes to have fun with the kids, and it's a good time. So after family meal time, the kids kind of split up, and we have preschoolers go to their own space. It's a self-contained classroom, and they're there for the next hour and a half, and I'll get to that later. And then the 1st through 12th graders, they head upstairs for choir and bells. And so we'll have one in choir while the other's in bells, and then they'll flip flop. So the next thing is choir and bells. Okay. The Calvin Westminster Choir is 6th through 12th grade. The Praise and Hallelujah Choir is 1st through 5th grade. No one calls it that. So you will hear me say the elementary choir or the kids choir, talking about the little ones. But Cal West is usually what people call the 6th through 12th choir. So these are words that get thrown around a lot, and people are like, what's happening today? Well, this is what's happening today. They practice for 30 minutes and then they'll rotate. So like choirs for 30 minutes and they'll go to bells for 30 minutes. Susan Oliver, Leah Ratzlaff, and Byron Goodson do bells. So Susan and Leah do the little ones, Byron does Cal West, the bigger ones, and then Teresa Kennedy and Linda Johnson do choir. Teresa does littles, Linda does big ones, and Mary Flock is the accompanist for both. They learn music that you guys get to hear on Sunday mornings during our worship services. Sometimes we learn fun songs too. If you ever need a good laugh, you should watch Teresa teach the kids how to be a cow, or how they're a moose that drowns in a river, or there's all sorts of goofy fun camp songs that the little ones have learned. And it's a lot of fun to be a part of. We also do boom whackers, which if you're like, what is that? It's these things. So they're like the little tubes that they hit on the floor. They're called boom whackers, and they each have a tone. And so when you play them, you can create a song. So in this picture, this was just 2 weeks ago. We were done with our curriculum well, not really the curriculum. They were done playing. They hadn't played, they're not gonna play for worth to begin this school year. So they didn't have anything that they needed to learn. So what they're doing is they're all sitting on the TV screen, just like this one. And there's a video on YouTube, and it kind of scrolls by. And then it tells you like when to hit your note, and the kids just watch it. And they play, and we're sitting down here, and you can hear them upstairs. And it's like, oh, they're playing Taylor Swift today. Or like, oh, they're playing like, I don't know, whatever. They played all sorts of fun stuff. So that's something that they get to do for fun sometimes also. And then sometimes we use choir time in the fall when it's a Christmas program year. We'll use choir time to practice the Christmas program. So this picture down here is from Angels Aware. The kids were all practicing together on a Wednesday night, getting ready for Angels Aware. So, okay, next thing, Wednesday night. Youth group. Youth group is kids in grades 6th through 12th grade. For Wednesday Night Live, all the kids sing and ring together, and then they split up for Bible time. So 6 through 12, they all play music together, but then we have a separate like Bible time for the middle school kids and the high school kids. They have 45 minutes of fellowship and Bible study, which is longer than the elementary kids get. The elementary kids just have half an hour for Bible time, but we really feel like youth group, it's important that those kids have like the fellowship time built into that as well, so that we're pairing fellowship with Bible teaching, because those things go together. So, they're also on Wednesday nights, they're using that narrative lectionary curriculum that I was talking about for Sundays. So on Sundays, they do their own thing, but on Wednesdays, they are following the same curriculum that everyone else is following. So they're getting some of that repetition also. Our main objective for these kids is just to provide a safe space for students to live into the confidence of God's love for them, just like our mission says. We really want the kids to feel like middle school is such like a scary, loud, weird, obnoxious, hormonal place to be. And we want them to have a safe space. So our goal with youth group is kids from all different schools, all different walks, all different whatever, we all come together, and we want it to just be a safe space. So that is what we push for with them. The junior high this year is being led by Tracy Bovey and Lindsay Stout, and the senior high is being led by Pastor Raymond. So, I should tell you some of these pictures. I'll tell you about them this time. The one on the far end, the kids did a picture scavenger hunt, and they had to take a picture with a light post. So they're out in the parking lot pointing at a light post. The next one is some kids helping in the rain garden, which that one just makes my heart so happy. Those kids volunteered their time. It wasn't part of like Wednesday night. It wasn't part of a youth group. It was just, we need help. Who wants to help? And these kids showed up and grabbed a shovel and started moving mulch around. This one up here is from Youth Sunday last year, and the kids were doing a skit. And then this one down here is from the junior high Christmas party last year. They were playing a game with a saran wrap ball and gloves on. So they were a lot of fun. This group is so much fun, and I'm really excited because I know that when kids are in high school, that's really more when the congregation gets to interact with them more and see them more and be a part of what they're doing. And I'm really excited for this group that we've got right now coming up into high school, because you guys are just gonna be blown away by the amazing things that they're gonna be doing here. It's so exciting. Can you tell that I'm kind of excited about it? Okay, the last one on Wednesday nights is Frolic. Frolic is named for the curriculum that we use. So this is a program that we started last school year, in the 22-23 school year. We have a really big population of preschoolers. Even in these pictures, like this one down here, this is only maybe half the class, not even all the kids got into this picture. So we have so many preschool kids, and I was feeling like a little selfishly, my children didn't have anything to do on a Wednesday night, but also their friends didn't either. And so we've got a lot of kids with older siblings, and I just thought, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can come up with. Spark House, which is a publishing company that we've used for many years, we were using their Sunday school curriculum. They have a preschool curriculum called Frolic, and it's really solid. It gives an overview of Old Testament and New Testament stories, but they're not maybe stories that they're not like the same stories we were covering in Sunday school. So the kids talked about, they spent 2 weeks talking about Deborah. We don't cover Deborah in Sunday school, or at least we haven't yet. With the new curriculum, I'm not sure, but in the old curriculum, we didn't. So it's kind of nice that they focus on some of these stories. And then what the curriculum does is it teaches the same lesson twice, focusing on 2 different attributes of God in each one. So it might teach the creation story week 1, focusing on like God is love, and then it'll teach the creation story week 2, teach the same story, but then it's a different attribute of God. So it's really cool curriculum. The kids hear the same stories, they're repetitive. It also comes with its own cute little Frolic Bible, and it's got like all the Bible characters are just like really cute. It's just fun for the big schoolers. And they've really been enjoying this. So we have them meet in their own classroom. They're there for an hour and a half. We've got 3 volunteers who are there on a pretty regular basis. And they do snack time, they do craft time, sometimes they'll do stations, and so they'll rotate through all the stations, and then they get to learn a lesson together. So this is the wildest class that we have, and I love it so much. They are so fun. And the kids can they'll tell you all the things that they're learning every week too, which is really great. Let's see. Okay, next thing, summer programs. We used to not do very much during the summertime here. And I'm gonna tell you what, the first year I worked here, school got over, and I was like, okay, BBS is getting planned. But other than BBS, I was really bored because I had nothing to do. So I said, let's fix that. I don't wanna be bored anymore. So we created some things. The first one that I want to talk about is Summer Movie Club. So, last school year, Reverend Doodle Harris came to me and she said, have this thing that I've done before. I want to do this. Would you partner with me in doing it? And I'm like, okay, well, tell me more. She's like, we pick a popular movie, a Disney movie that everyone knows, or a new movie or something. We pick a movie. Usually it's a cartoon, and we have the kids come on whatever night, Sunday night, and we give them popcorn and pizza, and we watch a movie, and then we talk about like a biblical lesson they can learn from this movie. And I said, I love it, let's do it. Sounds great. So last year we had 4 summer movie clubs, and Doodle and I led them. I don't even remember which movies we watched now, but we had rising kindergartners through 5th graders. So like whatever grade they're going to start in the fall, those were the kids that were invited. It was truly just elementary school, kindergarten through 5th. And then we had teen volunteers. So you can see like Esther's in this one picture, and Harrison's laying in there somewhere too. And they came and they helped clean up, they helped give out pizza, they helped take kids to the bathroom. Like they just do like the running back and forth thing for me, which is fantastic. So we're gonna do this again this year, and it'll be once a month. We'll have 3 of them this year, but this, just like our Wednesday programs, this is free to whoever wants to come. And it's very blatantly advertised as free to whoever wants to come. So we give them pizza and we give them popcorn and we teach them something, and then we get to watch a movie together, and the kids do this, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, so it's good. And the kids learned a lot from that. So okay, the next thing is Vacation Bible School, which is my favorite time of the entire year. It's my Christmas time. So I have done 2 Vacation Bible Schools here. We did Food Truck Party and then Hero Hotline. This year we're going to be doing one called Camp Firelight, and it's summer camp themed. Our camp counselor, Sam, will be played by the Reverend Greg Pickett, and he's gonna just be on point as a little camp counselor, so you guys aren't gonna want to miss that. VBS is the last week in June. We are doing 4 days. We decided that because, okay, so just for a point of reference, this picture right here, this is one of 2 preschool classes. We have 2 preschool classes, and that's one of them. And so that's how many kids there are in preschool. It's so many. I think the first year I was here for VBS, we had 25 kids in preschool. There are so many preschool kids. So, we really want to listen to the needs of preschoolers when making plans for Vacation Bible School. And a friend of mine, Stephanie Bowler, has been volunteering as our preschool, like, wonder person for the last 2 years, and she takes all of these little ones under her arm, and she's been a preschool teacher before, she's been a PE director before, and she's given me a lot of wisdom and advice on how to proceed working with those kids. And one thing that she suggested was we need to think about the littlest when we're talking about, like, how long is our program, how long is our day, how long is our week, whatever. So we decided that the best thing for our littlest ones was to only do 4 days of the week. So VBS is just 4 days long. And that might change eventually if we don't have as many preschoolers in the future. But for now, that's what it is. We've been averaging about 40 students. Half of them are preschoolers. And we have nearly as many volunteers. I think last year we had 35 volunteers who all work together to make all of this happen. We've been using Koepp curriculum. Koepp makes very easy to follow curriculum that always has skits in it. Like you can see, that's Esther and Maddie Gazda dressed up in the middle for doing a skit last summer. And the kids really like the skits, so like that is one big draw. But this year, we formed a VBS committee and we went over a bunch of different curriculum options, and we decided Koepp really was just the richest curriculum for us to be using. So we're gonna keep using that for now. The day breaks down, there's music, games, snacks, crafts, story times, and skits. And then this year, we're gonna add back in science as one of the rotations. So the kids meet all together and then they split up based off of their age groups, and they go and they rotate through all of the activities for Vacation Bible School. It is just such a fun energy in the building that week. I mean, you can just see like these little ones dancing, and just everybody is having so much fun. So even if you're not volunteering, you should just come to the office one day to pretend to pick something up so that you can experience the energy that is Vacation Bible School. It is just so exciting. And we already have, everything is underway for this summer. We've got advertisement banners up, another one on the way. We've got posters going up. Everything is live on the website. So if you've got a kid or grandkid or whoever who needs to register for VBS, all of that's already up and ready to go. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. So, next thing.
In addition to me being a character in costume.
Yeah.
Vivian.
Oh, yeah, Vivian Fawn has volunteered to be the lightning bug
I had not.
of Vacation Bible School. Well, when I asked her,
You knew.
she's like, maybe. Okay, yeah, maybe, yeah.
It's called Camp Firelight, and she is the firefly, and I am the camp counselor.
I love that. That's great.
Well, I told her, I said I needed my smallest teen volunteer, so that's.
That fits that category. Eventually she'll grow.
Exactly. Oh, she's so sweet. Okay, the next thing, is youth summer fellowship. So this kind of goes back to the whole like me being bored thing, and I was looking for something to do. And I went to Damon and I said, I want to do something with the kids, like with the big kids. Like I get to work with the little kids all during the school year. I don't get to work with the big kids quite as much. Like I want to do something with them. And something that I had done when I was a high school student, someone in my church that I grew up in would offer a girls' Bible study in the summer, and we would meet at the Blue Moon. So we go to the Blue Moon once a week and she'd read us something, and then we just sit and talk and talk and talk and talk. And I said, that's what I want to do. And we'll start there. So I invited all the junior high girls to meet me at the Blue Moon, and we did it every week for a whole summer. And then they said, are we doing it next summer? And I said, of course we're going to do it next summer. So then the next summer we did it again. And I didn't want to leave the boys out, so I asked Damon if he would do something with the boys as well. And the first summer, whoever showed up, they would just decide, are we gonna go get a snack or are we gonna go play at the park? And they'd have frisbees and footballs and whatever, or they'd sit at Jimmy John's. And they just kind of do one of those two things. And then last year Damon decided he wanted to do more of like a board game time with the boys. And so he met with the boys here at the church, and whoever came, they'd play a board game, and then I would go with the girls. And there were a couple weeks where it was like, oh, I only have one child with me. And he's like, yeah, I don't have enough people to play a game. So we talked about for this next year, what we're going to do is we're going to just meet together here at the church once a week for 2 hours. It's in the afternoon. There's no, like, you just come, we'll have snacks, we'll have soda, and we'll all play games together. And then this year, we're also gonna open it up and have it just be for all youth group aged kids, so 6 through 12. Because we know, mostly because we know that the incoming ninth graders are gonna be the ones who show up the most. And also because we want more kids to come. So since we're not offering youth within the summer, we wanna give them a chance to come and be here and continue building those friendships with each other. Okay, last year, we also did a zoo trip. So VBS last year, the mission project was a used toy drive. So the theme last year was Hero Hotline. We were talking about what does it mean to be a superhero? How can we share the characteristics of God and like be a superhero? So like loving each other and taking care of the people in need and sharing with people who don't have much. And so the mission project we did was gathering used toys. So then we had to do something with the used toys. And I don't know if you've ever organized a used toy drive, but the only place in Nebraska who will take them is a place in Lincoln called the Barnabas Community. And the Barnabas Community is it's an ecumenical group, and they have like a storefront, and they also serve like meals out of their building. But one of the things that they do in this store is that it's a free store. So you come in, you have to like fill out a form that just says like, this is who I am and I'm here, and then you can shop for free. So if you're a family and you come in and you need clothing, come in and you can get shirts and pants and socks and whatever you need from this store. But they also have toys. So if you come in with your children, they get to pick a toy that they take home for free, which I just thought was a really cool, like, it shares our mission for loving people and loving the community. So what we did was any teen volunteers who helped with Vacation Bible School were invited to come on this trip to Lincoln to deliver the toys. And you can see this van picture on the bottom, on the far side. So 5 of them took me up on the offer, and we loaded up in the van and we put all the toys in the back, and my husband and I took them to Lincoln to deliver the toys, and then we went to the zoo in Omaha because we were already there, so why not? So we spent the whole day at the zoo, and the kids had an absolute blast, and they've been asking if we're gonna do it again. And so Damon and Greg and I have been talking, and I think what we'll do is we're gonna offer it as like a all junior high like day trip, and we'll just do it every summer. And it won't just be the kids who help with VBS, but all junior high kids will be invited to come on this. So if they're not old enough to go on Go and Serve, then they're young enough to come to the zoo. That's kind of how it goes. So next year, we're gonna have to take a couple vans, I think, because we're gonna have too many. Okay. And one more page of things to talk to you about. We have 12 minutes, so here we go. The last thing with youth fellowship that I want to talk about, it's not summer, but it ties in here sort of. This year, I really wanted to do a junior high retreat. So I really wanted to focus on doing something that the point was to go be away from everyone else, be in our own little group, learn about the Bible and about God, and learn about each other and learn about community, and then just do fun things together. So this turned into a 2-day retreat in February. So we left there was no school on Friday, so we left like mid-afternoon on Friday, and we got back early evening on Saturday. And I had 15 kids signed up, I think, maybe 15. We went up to Kearney. We stayed at the Crown Plaza, which has an indoor water park. And we did the Crown Plaza, and then we went to Big Apple Fun Center. We ate all of our meals together as a big group, and then we had Bible study time. The theme for this trip was more than myself. And so we talked about how we're called to love God and love one another, and that this should be evident by the way that we behave. So as you can imagine me sitting with a bunch of middle schoolers saying, okay, what are the things you do in your life? Which one of those things is about you? And which one of those things is about other people? And the kids are just like, oh. You're in middle school, it's okay, we'll forgive you. But it was really fun to get to have them in like this space they've never been in, and none of these kids have ever been on a retreat like that before. So it was really cool. I plan to do it again. I'm not sure if we'll do the exact same thing or if we'll do something a little bit different. But like, if you ask any of the kids, a highlight from their school year, I think would be going on that trip. So, okay, next thing, Christmas craft event. So, the last 2 years, we have had this event called the Christmas craft event. Dana Miller, who is on the Congregational Life Committee, came to me and she said, like, sister was telling me about this thing she went to in Lincoln, and it was at a church, and it was like a free event where the families came and the kids got to do craft, and it was so cool. I want to do that. I said, no problem. We got the Christian Ed funds. We'll make this happen. Like, no problem at all. So what we did, is we went on like Oriental Trading Company and bought like 5 or 6 craft kits that it cost us like $1 a piece, maybe not even that, like 50 cents to $1 a piece. And we had each table in the fellowship hall set up to be a different craft. So like in these pictures, you can see this one was some sort of paint craft, and on the other end, it was like a Mod Podge craft. And then the kids can come and pick a craft to do, and it's free to them, and then they get to take it home. And the idea is that it would then be something that they could gift to someone else for Christmas. So like, this is Wilson making a plate, maybe Wilson took that plate home and gave it to her mom for Christmas. And we have a wrapping station too, where the kids can wrap their presents. So this is an event that's put on by Congregational Life and Christian Ed Committee. And our goal really is just community outreach. So the first year we did it, we only had like 20 people show up, and they were all church members, which is great, and that's fine and wonderful. But the next year we did it, we had like 50 or 60 people show up, and none of them were church members. So it was really cool just to see, like, 1 year out, the difference in the people who were coming and the people who had heard about it and who wanted to be a part of it. And we got to make some really cool connections during that this year. And we had a lot of volunteers there, and the teens helped volunteer to help run the tables too, which I really appreciate about them. So, yeah, it's a cool program. It's, relatively low cost to us, and we're just gonna keep on doing it because it's super fun. So, the last thing that I want to talk about today is a Christmas program. So we were all here 2 years ago when our cute little angels sang Angels Aware, and they're so adorable, and I love them all. And it's a Christmas program year again this year, and I am here to tell you we will not be doing Angels Aware. We're gonna put that one to sleep for just a little while at least, and let it rest it needs to rest. This year I'm really excited, because Hannah Jensen Heitman and I are working on an original Christmas program. So she has been wanting to write some sort of Christmas program, and I have been wanting to not do certain Christmas programs. And so,
Which one?
I don't know, like just some of them, like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm looking for something that's a little deeper while also being lighthearted, and something that tells a different story than the angels, And so Hannah and I have been working together for the last, 5 months. I mean, we started right after Christmas. As soon as her cantata was over, we sat down and started hashing out what this is gonna look like. And she has given me permission to share a little bit of it with you guys. So we are planning, it's a Christmas program about shepherds. And we are tentatively, jokingly calling it Shepherds Aware. Do you get it?
Oh.
Angels Aware, Shepherds Aware. It's a joke, but this is what we're calling it for now because it doesn't have a title yet. The plot is going to follow the shepherds who the angels speak to. So in the story of the birth of Jesus, we have this picture of these angels showing up to shepherds, and then the shepherds are like, okay, but then we don't know what else happens. And so we're gonna tell their story of what we think the shepherds might have done in that instance. But there are 3, maybe 4 main shepherds, and each one of them is gonna have some sort of flaw. So one of them is the not humble shepherd, who doesn't have a name yet, but we are calling them the not humble shepherd. And then one of them is a rude shepherd, and one of them is like a over it, done with life, exhausted shepherd. And so far, those are the three main characters, and they sing songs that are basically just like the not humble shepherd sings a song about taking charge and leading way. I know what's right and follow me because I know what to do. And then the rude shepherd sings a song about how, oh, it was just a joke. Like, why can't you take a joke? I wasn't trying to be serious. It was just a joke. And then the tired shepherd is going to sing some song about how, like, they would much rather just stay here with their sheep. And why do we have to go all the way to see some baby? And this is dumb. And we don't want to do this. And like, why does it even matter? And so then what happens is through their journey and then meeting the Christ child, they're going to have a change of heart. And then we'll get to see like each one of the three show us something like, I'm gonna not be so like proud. I'm gonna let somebody else take the lead on this one, or like, I'm gonna, you know, whatever. So it's gonna be super fun. I would say it's probably about not quite halfway written, maybe. It's in the first early stages. So we're hoping to have it done by September. We'll see. If we can't get it done by September, we'll do something else and we'll save this for 2 years from now. But I think we'll be able to hash it out, no problem. So the kids are gonna be doing that this next year. And yeah, it's gonna be really exciting. So I think that kind of covers it. That's what we've been up to in Christian Ed. I know that's a lot. I'm sorry to talk your ear off for so long, but do you have any questions?
You did a great job.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that was good.
As a parent of one of those
Beautiful
angels
angels.
in the picture, certainly we're so grateful for all that you have done to kind of streamline both the programs and the curriculum, but also, you know, engage the kids in kind of different and unique ways. Viv
Yeah.
has loved the like go to the coffee shop. She feels like such an adult, you know, being able to you know, oh, Rose invited me to go to the Blue Moon. Is it okay if I go? Sure. And so I mean, it's meeting the kids where they want to be,
Yes.
and sometimes that's not in the Sunday school classroom.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so I think that it's really important, and I really appreciate all of the different types of events and things that you have done with the kiddos.
Well, thank
So,
you.
well done. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Yeah.
Do you have time?
It's
What time is it?
It's only.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, from my youth era,
Mhm.
summer church camp, first at Westminster Woods near Lexington and then later at Calvin Crest
Sure.
near Fremont was a big thing.
Yes.
Now you're doing amazing things. But is there still a connection with Calvin Crest?
There is, well, so first of all, we actually support Calvin Crest. That is one of our like
Yeah.
mission
Okay,
things that we support as a church. We send them a check every year. So we do support Calvin Crest in that way. There has been a shift away from summer camp culture. And I'll tell you what, summer camp counselor blood runs in my veins. It's here.
yeah,
I'm ready to go. I'm ready for summer camp. Like, let's do it. And I went to summer camp for years and I was a camp counselor for a few years. And I have such a soft spot in my heart for summer camp. It just hasn't been the culture here for a while. And we do have a couple families who send their kids every year. Like 3 kids. We have like 3 kids who go to camp every year. And we offer camp scholarships. Anyone watching this later and listening to this, we offer camp scholarships. So feel free to use them. So, you know, we would love to help get families there. Something that we being Damon and I usually, if I say we, it's that he and I are tossing around ideas. Something that we've talked about is maybe doing some sort of family camp retreat. So like have families sign up and load up and we all go out to Calvin Crest and we rent out the whole camp for the week. And it's just a first pres summer camp extravaganza. And whoever comes, it's great. And we'll just hang out and have fun and be at camp. And I think part of it is exposure. It's just that, you know, less and less people went to camp and now their kids aren't going to camp. And yeah, so I don't know, definitely something that we still advertise and we still talk about. It's just not very popular.
thanks for explaining that, and I understand that, and it's affected Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts as
Absolutely.
well.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for explaining.
So, any other questions?
Yeah.
You good?
What do you do in your spare time?
Yeah,
Well, I read, I like to read, and I've been reading a lot of books lately about, family faith practices and family rhythms. So like, the book I'm reading right now is called Rhythms of the Household, and the author is talking about how like rhythmic living can help us be more spiritual, really, because we get into these patterns of doing things and then it helps us connect deeper. I mean, think about a Sunday worship service. Like everything we do is repetition. Everything we do is a rhythm. And the reason for that is to help us to connect to something beyond ourselves.
Mm.
We can do that in our homes also. And so many homes in like, especially in America right now are just chaos. It's chaos. The parents are doing their thing, the kids are doing their thing, everybody's split every direction, the house is a mess. Somebody else is cleaning your house for you, somebody else is doing your food for you, like, it's chaos. And if we want to really train up our children to live spiritually, we need to also teach them how to live rhythmically. And take time for rest and take time for play and take time for all these different things. So that's what I've been reading about, and someday I hope to be able to stand here and tell you all about that.
Yeah.
It's a lot, so, I'm processing, and as I process, I will share what I learned. But, I do share some of that stuff in my monthly newsletters that I send home, so,
Good.
yeah. I like to give the parents what I'm learning, and hopefully I help somebody else, so, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.